Hello everyone, my name is Clarissa Rios Rojas. I'm a scientist from Peru, a molecular biologist that nowadays is working at the interface of science and policymaking. Currently, I live in Cambridge and I work at the University of Cambridge at the Center for the Study of Existential Risk. And I'm very happy to be with you today and talk a little bit about my work and about the perspectives that people from the global south, Latin Americans especially, have during this COVID-19 crisis, and how we can heal the earth and how we can think about public health as well. Let me tell you a little bit about my work. So, at the Center of the Study for the Study of Existential Risk, what we do is to research. We investigate more about global catastrophic risks and existential risks. These type of risks are the ones that can decimate the human population and make the human civilization collapse to a point of no return. For example, some things that you may have heard are nuclear war, the misuse of artificial intelligence, bioweapons, etc. So I'm part of a big group that is working on doing more of a little bit in-depth research about a science of global risk. How can we understand and manage and also create policy recommendations or methods that can help us to think about the future, think about these threats that are not yet here, but that maybe are going to be a really difficult threat to manage in the future. For example, what we are seeing with the COVID-19 crisis is that many systems have collapsed. We have the health system, education system, transport has to be reimagined and have to be must find new ways to be operating. So what this COVID-19 crisis is teaching us, or of not just the researchers working in this field, but the scientific community and citizens and policymakers around the world, is that preparedness is important. We have to be prepared in order to manage this type of crisis, especially when they go out to a global scale, in a better way. And to do that, there are many different type of methods. For example, some of the methods that we use at the center are everything related with foresight and future scenarios and thinking about what may happen ahead and how we imagine the future. So if we imagine this A or C or D future, what things we need to implement now to make sure that that future is going to happen. And that's what's my work about, and that's what I'm learning from the COVID-19 crisis, is how to manage all these potential risks in a better way and in a way that is a global effort. And when we talk about global effort, it's not just the countries that have the latest technology or have the most economical power. It's also about the countries that are part of this big network of the global world. And we, as people from the global south, have to think about what's going to be our role in the future, maybe pandemic, human engineered pandemic, or other type of threats that can come up in the future. I think that the best thing that we can do as scientists is to start thinking how our research is fitting global problems or global issues or local problems. I think that personally, during my times at university, I would have loved to have more engagement with policymakers. I was working with cancer, so with cancer patients. I was working in glaucoma with people, citizens that were suffering from glaucoma, and I think that these opportunities were never given. And as I've seen that this would have been so important because it could have framed my research in a different way. When I finished my PhD, it was that I realized that I want to work on something that is more close to helping find solutions to global problems. And that's what brought me to the place where I'm working now, thinking about global threats and how we can mitigate and how we can manage them. I think that will be my first suggestion to all academics, to think about how the research really fits, because I know that when we do proposals to get grants, one of the grants are, for example, to what's the scientific impact, but I think that we also should think about what's our policy impact. Are we engaged with journalists? Are we engaged with policymakers or not? And thank you so much. And there are my doggies. And I really look forward for your questions.